The Nintendo Switch is almost here, and there are opinions about it everywhere. You can barely move your mouse on YouTube without accidentally clicking on a video offering another hot take on the Nintendo Switch.
The Switch is going to print money, you guys. Cry more, Lame Station fans and Xbots.
You are stupid for thinking the Switch is good.
See what I mean? Now, no system's perfect, and the Switch is no exception. But there's a lot to be excited about here, at least for me. And that's why I'm here today, to give you my personal top 10 reasons why I'm excited for the Switch. Some of them are a bit silly, others a little bit more abstract, and some are all about fun. So let's switch over to number 10. That stupid click might be one of the most satisfying sounds created by mankind. It's distinctive and immediately catches your attention, like the sound of popping open a soda can. Even the subsequent reverb almost sounds like the sigh of relief of someone's thirst being quenched. See? I better hear that damn thing every time I turn the system on. Confidence is attractive, and the lack of it can be spotted from a mile away. Just ask any of my ex-girlfriends about me. And right now, Nintendo seems to have confidence in spades. Or at least it feels like they do. Fake it until you make it, right? Look at that logo. It's white on a sea of red. It projects power and energy. And it's probably no coincidence that these are the same colors Nintendo used back when they dominated the industry in the 80s and early 90s, making it recognizable to anyone who grew up with Nintendo in that era. So between the distinctive logo, Nintendo's on-point messaging, and the return to the classic white and red color scheme, it really feels like we're looking at a more confident Nintendo. A Nintendo that pulled itself up by the bootstraps and believes in itself again. A Nintendo that's willing to shell out some big bucks for a Super Bowl commercial to ensure that people actually know what the hell the system is this time. And it doesn't hurt that their messaging has been on point this time too. The Switch's red and white color scheme is Nintendo's way of saying, "I'm back, baby! I'm back!" We've never had a controller, or should I say controllers, that have been this versatile before, accommodating almost any playstyle. At times, they're physically part of the Switch itself, whereas at others, they function as independently motion-controlled devices for each hand. And at other times yet, they can come together for a more conventional TV-based gaming experience. And finally, they can be split into two completely independent controllers for some two-player action, all the while adding some innate functionality beyond your standard controller too, with enhanced motion sensing technology, more nuanced rumble, and an infrared camera that can detect shapes for whatever reason. Point is, the Joy-Cons can adjust to fit almost any playstyle, and that's pretty darn cool. And I do have to give a special shout out to the fact that charging the Joy-Cons is as simple as connecting them to a Switch. Yep, searching for AA batteries or charging cables is finally a thing of the past. Thank God. For only the second time in Nintendo's console history, Zelda is a system launch title. And just as we may be looking at a very different Nintendo, we're also looking at a very different Zelda. One that largely leaves behind the baggage accumulated over 30 years and ventures out to try something new. And it's for that exact reason that I haven't been this excited for a new Zelda game in a very long time. Now, the sort of crazy thing is that, at first blush, Zelda doesn't seem like that great of a launch title in the sense that it barely makes use of the Switch's unique functions. It doesn't support HD Rumble, there's no touchscreen use as far as we know, two-player use of the Joy-Cons clearly isn't an option, and it barely makes use of the motion controls. And yet, it might be because of those reasons that Breath of the Wild might actually be the best possible launch title. This is a brand new, open-world, single-player game clearly designed for hardcore gamers. Which is to say, it's something that you'd normally only be able to play on your TV. And yet, that's not the case. With the Switch, Breath of the Wild is a console-caliber game that can literally play anywhere without seams or boundaries. Which is especially fitting given that's the very idea of Breath of the Wild itself, a world without limits. And that brings me to my next point. Since the very first trailer, Nintendo's done a fantastic job of communicating the idea of the Switch, in that you can play it at home or on the go. But there is one thing that can't fully be captured by an ad, and that's the full magnitude of that idea. Because the Switch is a little like the Matrix in that
you have to see it for yourself
in order to fully appreciate it. Because up until now, console gaming and portable gaming have been two entirely different things. If you play a console at home, you're tethered to the TV. And if you play on a handheld, you're confined to a small screen that's not terribly comfortable to hold. So the appeal of the Switch isn't just that it's two devices in one, it's that it merges the two to create a brand new type of system. One where you can play the exact same games at home on your big screen TV as on the go or any state in between, seamlessly and comfortably. If you have to leave the house mid-game session, just pick it up and go. You no longer have to worry about not having enough time to get invested in a game, because you can just take the game with you. The shackle's been broken. You're unplugged. You're free to go. And even when you're out and about, it's not just a handheld. because you can prop the Switch on its kickstand as a mini TV and play it like a console with a standard controller wherever you may be. That's versatility. Okay, you probably get it by now, the Switch is liberating, but there's even more to it that I haven't talked about yet, because the Switch isn't an isolating experience, it's an inviting one. No matter where you are, at home or on a bus or on a plane, you will always have two controllers with you, the left and right JoyCons, which can function as independent controllers for two players. It's a ready-to-go multiplayer machine right out of the box, and that's freaking awesome. And not just because the Switch is the first Nintendo console in 25 years to come with two controllers out of the box, but also because it's the only handheld to ever do so, or even come with a proper controller at all. Before, everyone needed their own handheld to join in, but now anyone can hop in without needing any additional hardware. You can literally be playing anywhere and have a friend or maybe even a stranger join you for some co-op or competitive action. The Switch has you both covered. Why be stuck talking to your teammate on the plane? We can beat their ass in Mario Kart instead. Or maybe they can hop in and help you tackle a tough boss you've been fighting in a co-op game. It's this exact situation that the Joy-Con really lives up to its name. You just have to ask yourself one question. Will you take the red Joy-Con or the blue one? It only took Nintendo a decade, but they're finally joining the modern era and offering voice chat on a universal basis, via a smartphone app. Yeah, of course Nintendo had to throw a curveball in there. But after my initial hesitation, I think Nintendo may be onto something, because Nintendo has already outlined how the smartphone app will work in Splatoon 2, and it actually sounds incredibly promising, as it's not just for voice chat. Instead, it comes into play before you even start playing Splatoon, allowing you to schedule matches with your friends in advance, presumably without having to be near your Switch. And once in the match, the app then allows you to chat with everyone in the lobby, as long as they're not complete strangers, before switching to team-only chat when the match actually begins. This demonstrates that the app will automatically work in tandem with the games being played, as opposed to it functioning completely separately like Nintendo's version of Skype or something. And the more I've thought about it, the more brilliant the idea of a companion app becomes. For one, it solves the problem of headset cables not being long enough to reach a dock Switch. Two, it has the potential of making adjusting settings mid-game even easier, such as muting someone without having to deal with an in-game pause menu. And then there's the fact that you can schedule matches in advance, presumably without your Switch. That's pretty awesome, and that's just the tip of the iceberg for the potential of a dedicated Switch app, like being able to add friends from your phone at any time, or maybe being able to buy games so that's already downloaded and waiting for you on your Switch when you get back home. Now granted, there's still plenty of room for Nintendo to screw this up, but if it all comes together, the promise of a dedicated app and a unified chat experience on a Nintendo platform is exciting, even if voice chat is something we probably should have had like 10 years ago. Nintendo made quite a few announcements during last month's Switch presentation, including the fact it would now cost to play online. But there is one related announcement in particular that's gone a little under the radar. And no, it's not the free monthly NES or Super NES game you get as part of the online plan, but it is related to that, because Nintendo also announced that those games' multiplayer features will be updated to be playable online. And that's something I've never expected but always wanted. After all, it's hard enough to get together with friends these days, let alone for gaming, especially retro gaming. So being able to play each other online from the comfort of our own homes is a game changer. Now, we don't know what games will be supported yet, but I'm already giddy for the chance to play Super Mario Kart's Battle Mode again with old friends who live several hundred miles away. Or to 100% Kirby Superstar with a buddy for the first time in a decade. There are so many classic games that have been lost to time. And not just because they're old, but also because it's harder than ever to play local multiplayer in the online era. So this is a great chance to have new life breathed into these classic games. Say what you will about the Switch's third-party lineup, God knows we have. But from a first-party perspective, the first year is looking pretty killer. I mean, I just had an entire section of how awesome Zelda is going to be at launch. But beyond that, we have a definitive version of Mario Kart 8 with a proper battle mode in April, a brand new IP in the form of ARMS sometime in the spring, followed by a true Splatoon sequel in the summer, Fire Emblem Warriors sometime in the fall, and it all wraps up with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and one of the most exciting looking Marios ever at the end of the year. And all of that in just a 9 to 10 month period, barring any delays. That's pretty nuts, especially for a console's first year. And that's not even to speak of smaller titles like Snipper Clips that's getting a lot of early buzz, as well as some great indie support, like Yooka-laylee, Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment, Stardew Valley, among many others. And those are just the games we know about, and E3 is just around the corner. Maybe it's just me, but the Switch feels like more than just merely a platform. Instead, I think it represents a fundamental shift within Nintendo itself. After all, the very idea of marrying a console with a handheld is a pretty dramatic shift for Nintendo by itself. But it goes even deeper than that, whether it's giving their most cherished franchises to younger developers, as seen with Breath of the Wild, or shining the spotlight on a wider array of developers such as during the recent Switch presentation, or even expanding beyond their comfort zone such as with smartphone gaming and apps. The Switch really feels like it's ushering in a new Nintendo era, and while it's much too early to guess how things will pan out, I am damn excited for what's next in Nintendo's future. And not just in terms of games, but theme parks, movies, and who knows what else. If the Switch is just a start, what might be waiting for us around the corner? I can't wait to find out. So there you have it, my top 10 reasons why I'm excited for the Switch. But what are you excited for? Let us know by posting in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already for everything Nintendo Switch and tons more.